Welcome back to the Mohawk Valley Sportswatch. Thanks for making us part of your Sunday morning here. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Statman, thumbs up.
Yes, sir.
We got Tyler Schoff on the line. We'll go to Tyler right now. Tyler, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing good. Nice to be on. Nice to talk to you.
No, great to have you on. We look forward to it every year, so we appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a game tonight, right?
Yeah, on Sundays we usually have day games, but I think because Memorial Day weekend they're having the one tonight. Usually they're having at 6:30. So.
Well, we appreciate it. So, well, Tyler, let me ask you this. I was going through some of your early career, and we're all proud of you this way. When you first signed back in 2021, to where you went from when you signed to where you're at now, how would you assess your game now to where it was a few years ago?
As far as I think I've made big jumps. Obviously, in my physical game with my pitches and being more consistent with my delivery and my pitches. But I would also say that I think the mental side of the game has helped me tremendously. Just how I approach hitters, how I approach failure and success. I think that's where I've come a long way from, especially learning to transition to the bullpen. So, learning what to do in certain situations, how to handle certain things. Now that I'm kind of in a back-end role, sometimes closer, it's different than what I was in college, a starter, so it took me time to transition. So I would definitely say that learning how to handle the adrenaline and the stress of every single, outing, every pitch matters. I would say that's the biggest jump I've made.
And Tyler, I know that last season, I think if my numbers were right, you were 6-3. You had 35 appearances. You had an ERA of 4.89, and you were a kid in high school that was starting pitcher. What's really the difference for you and how you prepared as a starter to how you prepare as a reliever?
It's totally different. Most of the days I'm coming to the ballpark thinking that I'm hot that day, so I'm ready to go. Having to manage my catch play before the game, which is we play catch 3 to 4 hours before the game, so having to manage that, manage my workouts, not knowing when I'm going to pitch, but more importantly, getting the call, could be less than 3 minutes before I even go in the game. A lot of times, they say get Schoff going. I have 5 to 10 pitches to get my body going, and then I'm in the game. So it's learning how to do that compared to a starter when that day's mine. I know exactly what routine I want to do for the whole day. It's just getting used to that, I would say, is the biggest thing, and also getting your body adjusted to only needing a couple pitches to get ready.
And Tyler, I was, been watching, I'm sure you have too, when you get time to watch a Major League Baseball game, but they implemented the pitch clock. And one of the things I said before the season started was, I think that pitch clock, if you're a relief pitcher, has got to be tougher because normally a relief pitcher like yourself would take you a little bit to get going when you're out there on the mound, and you really don't have much time now to get on the mound and actually throw a pitch. Do you think that pitch clock that Major League Baseball implemented hurts relievers more than it does a starter?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, it's person to person. Me personally, I work fast, so in between pitches, I don't think it doesn't affect me much at all. But the old rule with no pitch clock used to be you come in there, you get your 8 pitches to warm up first inning, and then every inning from there on out you get 5 pitches. Now we get called in as a reliever. They start the clock as soon as we leave that bullpen. So they start that 2:15 as soon as I leave the bullpen. I'm there. The manager hands me the ball. I'm talking to the catcher about what signs we're going to do. Sometimes I'm not throwing a pitch until a minute 20 left on the clock, and I only have 4 pitches out there to throw because umpires always tell us when there's around 40 seconds left on the clock, they wrap it up last pitch.
Yep.
So that's the part that I hate because I should at least be able to get 8 out there and I shouldn't have to rush. That's the only thing. I don't mind it. Our games are going quicker. Not that that was a huge issue before, but I don't hate it as far as me personally goes.
So, Tyler, after your first full season with Fredericksburg, what did an off-season look like for you?
A lot of it was just really sticking true to getting my body better, body and brain. I was home, so I was doing just a lot of workouts, a lot of throwing, but I was also doing Cressy, which is a pretty wide, well-known facility. Eric Cressy, he works for the Yankees. I went there and threw and did some of their lifting stuff. So it was basically just lifting, throwing, and then doing some baseball lessons at night, which I really enjoyed. I really found that me helping kids was really enjoyable and also helped me in my game just because I was constantly explaining things that I'm learning every single day, things that I'm trying to get better at. So it was nice.
Yeah, and Tyler, talk about that if you can, because I know you coached, you did some camps and clinics here locally. I know a lot of our elite kids attended that. I wish my son was around that time when you did it. But talk to us about that experience. I know you did it with Coach Miller, who another local guy up at Lemoyne. Talk to us about that. What it meant to you.
It was just surreal because I remember when I was young and older kids around in the Lee Rome area. I always looked up to them, so I thought it was really cool to have kids looking up to me and valuing my opinion. It was. And again, it's baseball, so it's what I love. So being able to do that it was more fun than a job. That's why I loved it so much. Just being able to give back and hopefully, spark the interest in the area more. That's really what Coach Miller and I wanted to do. And I think we did. The kids had a great time. We did camps. We did weekly stuff over at Schoff, right by the Mazzaceros.
Yep.
So we did a lot of stuff. I also helped coach at SUNY Poly a little bit too. So I was kind of all over the place, but I found enjoyment in all of it, and it was really successful.
Tyler, how about analytics? Analytics now are playing such a key. You hear in all sports now. People are hiring analytics guys to bring in, whether it's college, the major leagues, pro sports. What's your thoughts on analytics, and how has it affected your game?
I would say that even so, the Nationals are really old school, but we're kind of at the point right now to where we need to go new school. Everywhere in the game is getting analytics, and I used to be a real old school guy, but I think analytics has a good part in the game. For example, for me, this year we're taking a step really starting to use all that data and technology. So for me and all the other pitchers, they're telling us what we have to do to pitch. We're pitching to our strength, not to the batter's weaknesses. So for me, we found that I have a good cut fastball, so I throw a lot of my fastballs glove side, and I have not a 12-pitch curveball, kind of more traditional curveball that has success on swing and misses, but throwing that curveball off that. So basically, pitching to my strengths instead of finding the weaknesses in the batter. So that's an example for me. Other organizations, like we're facing the Yankees this week, and other orgs like that, they only draft off of certain analytics. So only draft if a certain guy has a certain spin rate or a certain vertical break, which I think that's kind of crazy because I think you should have variety in your pitchers, but it's just it's taken over the game, and I think it's making the game a lot more competitive, which I've come to like.
And Tyler, the last thing I know, you're talking about the youth, and one of the athletes, at least baseball, when I was growing up, everybody here wanted to be Archie and Fracco, somebody that I looked up to. And when you look at the youth today, what would be a message for the young kids you would have for them?
A message I tell them all the time, kids at the ballpark, kids that I teach, play multiple sports. Obviously, if you love baseball, keep playing baseball, but play multiple sports and make sure that you're always outside doing stuff. Get off the computers and stuff. It's obviously the generations are changing, but baseball's great, but keep playing other sports and stay athletic because a lot of people in the big leagues play multiple sports, and being an athlete is really important.
Well, Tyler, listen, man, it's great to connect with you.